And
yeah, like if someone's telling you how they feel about something, don't be like, you listen to them and be like, yeah, but you're not doing, boom, boom, boom and stuff like that. No, someone's telling you how they feel about something, internalize that and understand that, like, they're saying they feel like they're not being cared about. Don't say they made you feel this way too. Hear what they're saying.
Yeah, come on.
Speak look, now she acting like, but look, when we beefing though and I start talking like this, you're rambling.
Because you need to listen to the
Y'all gonna hear her diss track she made from me at some point, but
I'll be down for you forever. We gon' always be together. Down for any kind of weather. We going higher than the ceiling. You and me is all I need, yeah. Keep on rocking to the beat, yeah.
Welcome back for episode 4. I'm Skyla.
I am Omar.
And this is the Snooks and Snookum Show.
This will be the third episode.
To my song when I sing it.
This will be the third episode. Look, I'm so glad we're doing this episode.
This is episode 3, not 4. Welcome back to episode 3. I think I said 4. All right. Keep it rolling.
This is why I'm in charge. Welcome to episode 3, guys. Obviously, y'all just heard her little jingle. Fun fact, we didn't have that finalized until
just now.
Just now. Well, not just now. A few days before this episode. So let us know what y'all think. Obviously, y'all been heard it the past like 2 joints, but let us know. She was on the vocals. Y'all heard my ad libs. I did what I had to do. She paid me $10,000 for the feature.
This is him. This is real talk.
Real talk.
Real talk.
Oh yikes! But no, it's been a busy since y'all last seen us. It's been a busy couple of weeks. What have you been doing, Snooks? Surfing.
We've been surfing. He's been trying to surf, trying to get this podcast stuff together.
Yeah.
Shooting random stuff with shout out to Terrence and Aubrey.
Yes, sir. Moving. By the time y'all see this, we would be in our new apartment.
Yep, we're moving.
Yeah. And just know we're happy as fuck. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got our content studio in it, my fault. But yeah, that's what we've been been up to. I think should we be in Cabo by now by the time they watch this?
Maybe. No, that's July.
May, June. Okay. No,
this
we
man
take it
doesn't
back.
know what he's talking about.
Episode 6, we'll be in Cabo.
What are we talking about today?
My favorite topic. Yeah, I know I love beefing. You know what I'm saying? Name of today's episode, Don't Start Nothing.
Won't be none.
All right. Today we're going to go into conflicts in relationships and various relationships, obviously, and how we handle that, how you deal with it, tips to work through it, try to avoid certain things, making sure you're still being heard, though, and not being dismissed. But, yeah.
And I know we kind of touched on this, I think, in episode 1, or we talked slightly about communication, but we're going to dig in a little bit more today, talk a little bit more about disagreements. Don't make me mad during our episode.
We was beefing on the way here, guys.
We sure were.
This morning, as I was getting ready, right. I'm taking a shower, getting ready. That's going to take too long. No, it's not. I'm going to shower, get gas, walk the dogs.
I like things to make sense, So when he does things that doesn't make sense, it really irritates me. But we're going to talk about
But y'all know me, and that rarely happens. Everything I do makes sense.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
I keep it 100. I'm 100 proof.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to get right into it. So today, I love me and my article. So let me shout out the everygirl.com. This article is called 7 Most Common Relationship Disagreements and How to Fix Them. All 7 of these are, for the majority, have applied in our relationship. And as a reminder, we've been together 10 years. We were together.
No, it'll be 10 in
May. Oh, we're in May this month.
Oh, wait, hold on. The 25th. Oh, guys, I brought y'all can't see it. Maybe we'll zoom and fix this and, whatever. But May 25th. It'd have been 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
May 25th.
Yikes.
So, this month we'll be together 10 years. Yeah. So we've experienced a lot of different stages in our relationship and therefore different stages of arguments and disagreements. However, they always say every relationship kind of has a pattern, and we definitely have a pattern that we work on. But the same things might lead us back into that same conversation. Yeah. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, because a lot of people have the same pattern. I know a lot of people struggle with communicating how they're feeling or feeling like their partner doesn't understand. So let's dig into it. You ready?
I mean, I've been ready. Like I said.
I hope we're still talking by the end of this episode.
I want all the smoke. I'm ready for it. Like she said, is when we first started, beefing, trying to figure it out, arguing, going through it, whoop, whoop. But we went from, we hardly ever argue and then not speak for too long.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
What was you about to be worried? Look, y'all see what's about to happen, right? Anyway, to plot twist. One of our things is we try not to go to sleep, mad and upset with each other. at the very least, we might beef, go through it. Maybe within like a couple of hours, end of the workday, way before we go to sleep, we try to have it resolved. Now, there'd be some serious joints where I like, look, I'm turning over, I'm snoring. Well, that's it. Love you, good night, and then that's it. And that's just what we go through. But we try to move away. To him
until the next day.
Really, it's me not.
But that's not what you should.
But yeah, which we'll get into. But we've evolved a lot. We would do that, but we definitely try to, especially being in like our couples therapy, marriage counseling, and everything like that.
Which I highly recommend.
As she said the last time, and she's always going to say, we try to make sure we're able to resolve what we need to resolve in the way that we should resolve that's beneficial for us. Meaning, and again, we'll get into the tips, but not just saying, okay, I'm sorry, so that we're good, but saying, okay, I agree, I disagree, let's talk a way through it, whatever. But we've definitely evolved. Not saying we were like horrible or not speaking for weeks, days, but
I've been telling this man we need therapy on how to communicate for a while, but we won't get into that. All right, so again, 7 most common relationship disagreements, and I highly approve this message. Okay, so number 1 is one or both of you feeling misunderstood. This is, in my opinion, the biggest for our relationship.
Yeah.
The biggest disagreement. What would you call it?
I know I'm good at naming things, but I can't name one right now.
Well, this is the biggest thing in our relationship. Both of us feeling misunderstood, because when you're both feeling misunderstood, you're butting heads. Yeah. So you're not helping the other one feel misunderstood. It's more the saying talking to respond rather than talking to understand, which we'll talk more about. Yeah. But so that is huge in our relationship. And it's something that we're actively working on still. We're not perfect. And it is the main thing that kind of puts us back in our pattern. So an example of that would be, so one thing, and I might've brought this up in episode 1 or 2, but for me, my love language is very different than Omar. So I need him to touch me, a lot. Like I need him to say words of affirmation. And
guys, but hold on, just because I get that's a love language, but I don't want y'all to think I don't be touching her because
no, he did not.
It is just what it is. Really is being more affectionate with the touching. I mean, as an example, somebody holding somebody from like behind their waist while they're doing something or things like that. We always hold hands like a lot, but that's not exactly what you mean by that. I was just trying to make people don't think that I don't like touch it. Like you're good over there,
Okay, so let me be clear. What I need specifically is like intimate touching that has nothing to do with sex. So for example, if I'm hugging him, I need him to be his energy towards me. And that might sound crazy to somebody, but I don't want him to I need like his energy, I need his attention towards me in the hug. So that's something that isn't as big of a deal to him, but it is to me. So here's one of our cycles. So I'll go to him and I'll say, okay, Snookums. Like I'll go try to hug him and then he'll give me his half hug and I'll start being like, listen, and I'll start rambling and he'll get irritated. So instead of him making me feel like he's understanding the hurt that it's causing me, I say defensive. He hates when I say this. His defensiveness then starts a whole cycle of me feeling misunderstood. And then I think he starts feeling misunderstood too, because we're just going back and forth. Yeah. Right. Do you feel misunderstood in those conversations?
In that particular one, slightly, only because, I mean, we all need our time, but as she'll say,
this man needs 12 hours on the couch a day.
Look, no, well, pause.
He needs
we'll stop the filming right now because it's not on the couch. Like, stop playing with me. But it's
proceed.
I'm gonna give you boy. Wait till we done filming this drink. I'm on your ass. Anyway, it's how can I phrase this? One thing I think I said in episode 1, maybe episode 2, but I'm gonna say it now. One of my favorite way to phrase the dynamic in our relationship is, if there are 10 things that need to get done to make their relationship successful, the house successful rather.
You're going into point 2 right now, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean to, but I say that I would do 8 of them, and I won't say relationship because as we're talking about, I'm not going to dismiss our stuff. It's me, but
that's why we go to therapy, y'all.
So because of that, I feel overwhelmed. So I'm running around all day doing whoop, 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 whatever it is and stuff, making sure she's good, especially during her open enrollment season. Mm-hmm. I'm not even disrespecting myself. I'm like her butler. I'm her slave for the open enrollment season.
So he's basically referring to, I'm in benefits and we have open enrollment season. It's very, very, very busy. So he does help me.
Yeah, and she's on from computer from sunup to sundown. But that's a extreme example. But what I'm really trying to say is that I run around doing so much like throughout the day that when it comes to later on, when she wants to, hug or cuddle or whoop whoop, not including sex, because guys, as we know, when that gets ready to hit, be like, all right, I mean, I'll hold you if that's what you want me to do, you know, whatever. But outside of that, just like a casual thing, I'm like, give me a second. Like, I'm trying to play this game, I'm trying to beat this level, or I'm watching Bernie Mac or Live PD. I'm trying to see them tackle the suspect, you know, whatever. Like, I need a second. I don't need you on me right now. And I have anxiety and stuff, and I get overwhelmed filming a bit like Boxed and Closed In. But again, that's another episode. So as I'm trying to express that stuff to her, I can feel misunderstood because I know what she needs and know what she wants. And as she'll get ready to tell you at some point, she's been saying it for years. But I know what it is she needs. It's just sometimes I get overwhelmed. So, but in that I can express my overwhelmedness, and then we're clashing heads and both feeling misunderstood in that second. So sometimes I can feel misunderstood. Yeah.
Yeah. And this might not seem like a big deal, just because we're kind of like talking about it and we're in good spirits, but this is a big deal for us. Like, this is one of those deal breakers because it leaves me not feeling loved, and then it leaves him feeling overwhelmed. And so we go into the cycle each time talking about the same thing. And so I don't know what it is for you and your relationship. And it doesn't have to be just, you know, a marriage or a boyfriend-girlfriend situation.
It could be your friends, your family, your coworkers and stuff like that. It's like, hey, I'm trying to tell you I need this out of our relationship. And not to, at some point you'll go into this, but like when she had her stress and anxiety and expressing her family about it, like, oh, well, you have God. Well, God isn't helping me, you know. Well, I won't say that, but
careful.
Let me watch that. It's some of her anxieties. Like, of course she has God, but that doesn't mean she's still not going to get overwhelmed. Or with your friends, maybe trying to explain to them what you need. Your parents, your coworkers. I need you to stop trying to act like you're my manager when we both got hired at the same time, working in the same position. Stop telling me what to do. You know. So it's various ways that this can apply. But again, we're going to get into that a bit.
Yeah. And I just say to top, you know, the misunderstood part off, when both people are feeling misunderstood, that's misunderstood. That's when you get stagnant, you know, that you're not moving forward. You're not moving past it. Resentment starts happening because you're like, this man or this woman never understands.
Do not.
Never understands or never listens or never hears me. So it's going to that understood part that we talked about before. Yeah. Like, both people need to feel understood. And to do that, it's hard because you have to take yourself out of you have to be selfless. I'll say selfless because if he were selfless and I were selfless, we wouldn't be arguing because I'd be like, okay, let me hear how he's feeling instead of me just always trying to be like, I'm misunderstood. Right. So we're bumping heads instead of just saying, wait, let me create space for me to actually hear how he's feeling so that I can speak to that before I even speak to how I'm feeling.
Yeah. And we'll get into some more tips and maybe issues or challenges with dealing with these tips, but let's get into the second.
So number 2, this is gonna be a funny one. Number 2 is dividing up household chores. Wait, before you start.
You sure? I can just go now.
If you live together, it says there's likely been at least one fight over your partner never unloading the dishwasher or how they've taken out the trash for the 3rd week in a row while you keep forgetting. I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one.
Oh boy. All right. Well, look, I'm a challenged individual, so I try to see everybody's side with this. But as I said earlier, if there's 8 tasks that need to be 10 tasks that need to be completed in the house to make the house successful, I am doing 8 of them. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Even though some of what I might say might contradict this, I am okay with doing 8 of those things. My problem is when tidbits get brought up.
And let me hold on. Just like you stopped me, let me be clear. He's talking about like household chores, which he does do the majority of. However, I handle the majority of other things, like when we need to get things done for moving. And
you saying dentist appointment? You know what?
I ain't continue. Anyway, that's not what this is about.
Look, this is how the conflicts get ready to start.
Stop trying to play me, okay?
She said Glacier's appointment to get her nails fixed, or Ace to get his haircut thing, and that's going to help me.
Are you downplaying what I do? Oh, okay, continue.
Y'all see how I can start, right? I apologize.
Thank you.
Hey, look, I apologize. Hey, y'all, watch this. I appreciate what you do in the house.
Thank you, Snuggles. I appreciate what you do in the house.
Anyway, so again, I might take care of most of the things, and honestly, even though we're talking about how a conflict can arise from this, I am fine doing those things. My issue pops up when maybe tidbits get brought. So yeah, you took out the trash, but what about the recycling? Or yes, you did the dishes, but I'm just spitballing here talking. So that's where my issue could come up with it as. But for the wider view, it's, again, there's 10 things that need to get handled for other people. And again, this is me just coming up with a number. Why is it that I'm doing, or hypothetically speaking, with work, family, whatever the thing's going to be, why is it that I'm taking care of most of the things and you're hardly helping me out? And again, there's ways to get around that, which again, we'll talk about, but that can be another a sticking point for people, because it's like, people can say, I'm not your slave. I'm not your maid, whatever. You're an adult. You're a big boy, big girl, whatever it is. Independent woman, independent man. Why can you not do this thing for yourself? So that can create some issues. Yeah.
And I think for us, household chores, it's like, why does that cause an issue? But I think it has to do with, again, going back to feeling misunderstood in other scenarios. So then the household chores comes up. And
when she's talking about a hug or something.
Yeah. Or, I mean, even if we're taking it outside of our relationship, for some people, doing chores might be a love language, right? Like, it might be, I feel love when he's taking the trash out, because it's taking that load off of me. Or when he's doing the dishes, it shows that he cares. That could be a love language for someone. So you have to figure out for your relationship, what this means for you guys. But I definitely know for Omar, because he gets overwhelmed in other scenarios, he'll use the household chores sometimes as a point of contention, because he's so heightened that he's like, and you didn't do this. Like,
are you dismissing what I'm feeling?
No.
What'd you say earlier?
I understand how you're feeling, and I apologize that I've made you feel that way.
Let's move on.
But yeah, this could be a big thing. And I do know for Omar, it comes up, especially when we're talking in therapy, because it's like he said, he's okay doing it. But for him, it's the feeling of knowing that I will do it. So like a lot of times I'll say, oh, did you want me to do that? Well, not a lot of times. I need to start doing this more. But he appreciates he appreciates when I say to him, oh, do you want me to wash the dishes tonight? And that makes him feel okay in the situation. So he just wants to know that I'm willing to help him and that I see how much he does. Yeah. So that's for us. I mean, I don't know how it looks for other people, but some men we didn't in the kitchen cleaning.
Yeah, pretty much. Me, but
teach its own.
That's Exhibit A. But again, we'll talk
nothing's
about
wrong with that. I mean, it's every relationship has its own thing.
And again, we would have asked you guys maybe some comments or situation scenarios. We did not get around to that, but I mean, again, leave y'all comments.
Ask them every time.
I just like engagement. Hey. But anyways, look.
Not that we don't like your opinion.
Again, another conflict right here. We ain't gonna talk about it. But again, comment, whatever. Let us know what y'all think about it. And
let us know. What do you think? Yeah. What do you think about that? Okay. Well, number 3. This one isn't as big of a deal now, but it was definitely when we were younger. Not making your relationship a priority. And actually, I know I'm 30. He's turning 30.
I'm 29. You can say my age.
He's 29. He's a youngin'.
I'm a young buck. You robbed the cradle.
But I do know I have. Can I?
What's the phrase?
What?
Never mind. Go ahead.
Rob the cradle.
I just make sure I said it right.
Anywho, I do have friends, that are my age or older, and this is still a problem for them. So this can happen at any time. But for us specifically, this used to be a big deal when we were younger. So I'd say college days.
I mean, college.
We met in college.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So it was college to maybe
to put numbers on it, 20/21 to 27, 28ish.
Oh, you're talking ages.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like the time range.
Yeah,
so like
it
first 5-7 years. 8, 9,
I know you're
10.
probably like, why you put up with it for so long? I asked myself the same thing.
But then y'all see me, y'all know why she put up with me. Get your hands off me. No.
Stop playing with
me.
Get
your hands off me.
Anyway, so basically for our relationship specifically, the issue was he has a group of friends, and hey, if you guys are watching, love you guys. But he would always put them first, and I think this was a deeper thing for him. Like, he wanted them to know that he wasn't the type of person that would leave them for some girl, or he wanted to make sure that he was investing in his friendships, which I can respect that. However, if we're in a relationship, I come first. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that, but that's how I feel. So, for example, I remember I used to call him. So they used to drink every weekend,
and this is multiple groups of friends. She's just let's make sure that's why I gave the year span, because it's so a lit group of friends from a year span thing. Yes. But go ahead.
So he had a habit of going out with his friends, drinking on the weekends, and sometimes I couldn't always reach. Well, I don't want to say not reach him, but he wasn't like texting me the way that I would need him to, or following up with me the way that I would need him to. And also on the weekends, especially when we were younger, that's the time where I wanted to spend with him. So he would try to balance both of us, but it didn't work for me the way that it was happening. And I don't know, when did it click for you, kind of what I was saying about how I didn't feel like I was priority?
Well, it applied for different stages for the different friend groups. So with the college friend group, because you were present. I mean, we were still going out. You're probably in the dorm or whatever it was. Yeah. But it's not that it didn't click for me necessarily. It was more so like, I mean, you could come. I mean, I'm trying to phrase this the right way. With the college friends, it didn't necessarily click until maybe, if I can put a timestamp on it, maybe around the time we graduated, maybe, because we started living together more and everything like that, and obviously, moving about and around wasn't going to be working out. With my other friend group, that didn't click for me until...
Yeah. It took a while.
I can't even think of when it clicked. Probably as we were preparing to get married is when it clicked for me or whatever, because we did premarital counseling. Well, more than that, but I'm just trying to put like a exact like time frame.
Yeah, I feel like it was gradual, because I wouldn't have stayed for that long with me.
Yeah, everything
like, so
was
gradual.
Yeah, everything was like a gradual change. I'm starting being like, well, hey, so here's what's happening in these various relationships, and versus our stuff and what I want us to build and grow. So yeah, it's one thing day in, and again, that was most of the college stuff and what you need to adjust with that. Then it was outside of college and us living together, moving into our own place, and how things need to adjust and grow with that. Because by the time we went to our own place, the going out every weekend thing wasn't as present as it was before. Because
I feel like it was something you kind of had to work through too. I mean, we can do another episode on and go into like all the logistics, but I think slowly things changed for him as he grew and matured, and he recognized that like I was somebody who would always be there for him, and that he had to put me first. You can tell me if I'm, off base or anything, but that's kind of how I saw it. And then especially when we did premarital counseling and got married and all those things, of course it really turned then as well, because I was like your wife and you expect.
And then one thing, if you guys, whoever's watching, if you're not married, or if you're married, you might know what we're referring to, but definitely those preparing to get married and thinking about getting married, or even if you're not, this can still apply. They'll let you know in marriage counsel or premarital counsel as you're preparing.
Shout out to Cam's parents.
Oh yeah, love you guys, appreciate y'all, and they married us too. It was great. Maybe we'll put a picture of them here. Probably not, but just know they exist. All right. It's when the conversation. I remember the exact conversation we had with them was like, you might think things aren't going to change, but it does. Like, we've been partners since even though we've been dating, we've been like partners since
2013. Remember, 10 years.
Yeah, but since 2013. This is why. Since maybe 2016, maybe 2017, we've been. Let me finish my thought. We've been partners in doing everything together, making extent. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So this is how the conflict starts. Don't be letting me finish.
This man is tripping.
Yeah, since like 2016, 2017, we've been partners wherein we bounce our ideas and thought processes off of each other with our personal lives or with each other or like anything like that. And so we've always been partners for a while, but once you get married, even though we've been living together for even longer than like 7 years, it's probably been like 8 years we've lived together in the same space for majority of the time. It's still different. Your life is one life. So yes, we were partners and still balance things off of each other as we tried to, figure various things out, but where now y'all definite units. So now you don't got no choice. So something clicks, and as we were talking about it, I'm open-minded. So I was like, I mean, I guess I can see, but again, we've been partners for a minute, but as we've been, she's saying I'm talking fast. I don't mean to.
So fast.
I don't mean to talk that fast. I'm sorry.
Can y'all understand what he's saying?
I'm sure they can. And if y'all know me, I acclimated y'all to how fast I talk. But, when they first brought that idea up, I was like, I guess I can see what y'all saying just because I'm trying to be open-minded with the whole thing. But no, definitely when we got married and things were official, it was a snap. It was a chance like, all right, hey, this is my wife.
Sure.
So here's how I got to do this now. There are also external factors to some of the decisions that I was making, but which again, we'll get into at some point. It was us being married. It's like, hey, this is what comes first. This is what I need to do and how I need to make things work and help things work out. It's not just about what I want. It's about what we might want and what we need to do. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. So I mean, I know this is a huge one for other people and it was for us too, but, I would just say, if you don't feel that you're a priority in your relationship, you have to speak up because if I hadn't said it, I don't know. I think I helped you realize that, you were putting your friends first. And it wasn't in a way where you were purposely trying to hurt me, but it was just something you were unintentionally doing because of, I think, other things you were going through in your mind and, you value your friendship. So.
Yeah.
So but we've come a
one
long
thing
way.
just to expand on that, and then we'll keep it pushing.
Mm-hmm.
I with any of my friends, and this is all y'all from whatever age to now, whatever it is. One of my things was making sure people didn't get the wrong idea about things, whatever it was. So, a lot of decisions I would make would be based off of that. So I guess if there's a takeaway from this, which we will get into the tips, what it is. Being in, your various relationships with your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friend, your coworker, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, whatever it is. Of course, it makes you a good person that you want to keep other people's feelings and things like that in mind. But, still make sure that, you're doing what it is that, you want to do or whatever, not just saying things just to say things. And that's not to say that I've ever been in that situation where, hey, I'm only hanging out with you, even though it sounds a bit contradictory. Not to say, oh, hey, I'm hanging out with you or working for you or helping you with this project because I don't want you to think I'm a bad person per se. But and I feel like I'm kind of got a bit off target or track here with my original.
He's basically trying to say, prioritize the right thing.
Yeah.
Don't just prioritize a friendship or something because you want to appease somebody. Right. Yeah. Make sure in your life you have your priorities lined up and that's how you prioritize based on what you know is important to you.
Yeah, exactly. Don't just...
Period, poo.
Yeah. Just don't make a decision because you're worried. For example, we have our conflicts that we have. I'm not going to, because we talked about this in episode 1, happy wife, happy life. And happy spouse, happy house. I'm not going to just do something for her just because I don't want her upset. I'm going to do it because it makes sense to do.
Right.
Like I'm not, as a matter of fact, the example I was about to give was about to be wild.
Don't start none, won't be none.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Same thing with work. I'll help you out with your task, but help the team successful. Not be like, all right, I know you're not good at your job, but I'm going to help you out or whatever. Family, I'm going to do this thing for you just because I don't want you to talk about it at the next reunion, things like that. So just make sure you're being true to yourself with the decisions that
Speaking from experience.
I mean, I had no family reunion.
Wait,
my family reunion
I'm really done. All right, moving along. All right, number 4 is money issues. That's a huge one. Unless you're lucky and you're very wealthy already, money can definitely be a topic of contention. So for us, like we said, we've been together since college. We didn't have no money as college students. So, I don't know. I feel like this could be huge, but for us, it's only a problem at certain times. Like this isn't something that comes up frequently in our relationship. For the most part, we're on the same page about money. But when we do have arguments about money, sometimes it can get...
It's not like, oh, hey, I got my X amount of check here. I thought it was going to be more than that. Like, I can't go out and have fun now with you. It's not like that.
But for other people, it could...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I just meant for us.
Because for us, I don't know, we've always kind of supported each other. And then... we've had I could use his money, he could use mine. When we got married, we did join our funds together. We've had a few fights after that, but for the most part, we're kind of on board and on the same page. But I do know, like some people have, relationships where maybe the girl makes way more, or the guy makes way more, and that can cause issues because maybe I don't know. You know
okay.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Or even for us, sometimes, like since we're being transparent, so right now I make more. So sometimes I'll get frustrated.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Right, because I know his businesses are going to pop off. My stuff is going to pop off. We're equals. We share money. But I will say there's times when, there's things I want to do and maybe something came out the account. I had no idea it was going to come out. And then I'm irritated. And so then we argue about that. But for us, I think that's about it. But those arguments, I mean, there's still things we had to work through, but they're just not as big of a deal for our relationship.
Yeah, because it's not, again, we've said it and we'll go through the tips because, again, it's not that we've like, oh, you make more, I make more, so this is how much you can spend from it or something like that. We're partners, so we come up with a financial plan. Hey, we plan on X amount coming out the account. When Y amount comes out, we're both like, hey, hold up. I thought we said we was going to have this to do that. Like, where did this come from?
That's the part when I'm trying to do something and I see something come out.
Or with me, like I was like, hey, didn't we say we were about to do this or that? Like, no, we got to do that. I was like, I didn't calculate for that. I'm trying to get the new God of War.
Even though I told him it was coming out, but that's okay.
So
that's
she
says.
So
for another day.
The jury's still out on that. I'm still waiting.
This didn't just happen the other day.
Right.
Anyways.
Right. But point is being like, again, other relationships could be about, hey, you make X amount or I make X, Y amount, or even a same situation at us. It's like, hey, this is how much we're bringing in together and this is what we need to do with it. Like differences on opinion about where the money needs to be spent.
I think, and this is I might be generalizing, but some relationships where maybe the man makes all the money, like that could be a huge thing, for that relationship, or vice versa if the woman's making all the money. But I think this really comes into play when both people aren't contributing. But again, it's not something.
Like, contributing depending on how you phrase it. And again, we're gonna get to it, but either contribute as in both put money together, or both contributing as in what makes sense or not makes sense. I had the word in it as I saw your face, like the word left my head. Because you are beautiful. But that's not why the word left my head. It'd be...
Ladies, don't be fooled now.
It's contributing as in, everyone's
trying to act right to that.
Everybody contributing. I'm trying to get brownie points. Everybody contributing money or contributing like the thoughts and ideas. So let's just say I brought in all the money and she had all the ideas of how we can stretch it.
Yes, please bring all the money. I will have no problem spending
that's right
it.
Up
I want
her,
you to say
that's
something.
right up her alley. So she would say, all right, here's how we should make the money stretch and work for us. That's another phrase. Or B, she's like, hey, I want this Birkin, I want this Telfie.
So you're saying when there's a relationship where
depending on how you view contributing,
like it somebody's
depends.
Just spending
just
it
trying
all.
To get all the different scenarios for people together. It really all depends. But again, we're gonna get into the tips about how to handle most of these things. But just
they know that because you've now said it about 4 times.
And I'm gonna keep saying it.
Anywho, just kidding.
Yeah.
But for us, it's not a huge deal. But I know it can be a major topic for some. Whew, this one's a big one. Number 5. Let me clear my throat.
You make sure when you say big one, you don't like imply like that's what we got going on, because you be tripping with a couple of
this. What we got going on sometimes. Number 5, lack of intimacy. Again.
Let's define intimacy.
For me, I'm not talking about sex. Okay? I'm talking about intimacy, like us connecting as 2 souls, 2 people. And for me, I'm the type of person where I'm like, I want to connect to everything. I want to connect to nature. I want to connect to my soul. I want to connect to the ocean. He's very much the opposite. So when, I probably am requesting things that may not make sense in his world. So maybe that's like the first part. But what I'm truly looking for is like intimacy, like the way you're touching me, giving me your energy, creating that space where we're like connecting deeper than just like physical or deeper than like I want it to go mental and like soul level. So that's something, I'm not going to say we have the worst intimacy, but it's something that I need more of and that we talk about in therapy all the time. We try to find different ways to implement that in our relationship because it can be different, for everybody. And I think this is actually very challenging for Omar because he's not, it's just not as big of a deal for him. Like he doesn't require this of me. It's something that I'm requesting of him. Right. So, for me, this is one of those areas where I feel misunderstood because I'll bring it up and he won't understand, or he'll come back like, but I did this, I did hug you. And what I'm needing him to understand is it's not about the fact that you hugged me. It's about the fact that in the hug, I didn't feel the intimacy that I needed. I didn't feel the connection. So I guess I would define it as connection, right? Like for me, intimacy is connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, no, yeah, I agree.
That'll work.
I mean, you're trying to get your thoughts together, so I was letting you.
I'm done.
I was like, no, let me let her fly. Like, she'll figure it out. I was like, yeah, that's a good way
done.
of that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, no, I mean, that could be a big thing. And again, it depends on how you define intimacy or whatever.
That's
because
right there.
I mean, what's intimacy to you? Like somebody doing things for, and again, we speak with love language, but someone doing things for you or helping you with something, or words of affirmation and stuff like that. So everybody has their different.
Like him calling me beautiful. Thank you for calling me beautiful today, Snookums. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. He got different ways that they like go about intimacy, and so they could be lacking various things. So yes, I might call her beautiful all the time as an example, but I don't like hug her the way that she wants to be hugged. Or to me, as she said earlier, it means something to me that she would offer to do one of the house chores. To me, that's intimacy, or us even like watching like shows together. Yeah. Like I love us doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like
which
that's
is
our
intimacy, but
but again, it could be which speaks to misunderstanding and having a disconnect and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that actually goes into number 6 because number 6 is growing apart, and this can happen in different stages because even though we're not older, it's for me. I felt that way before, and I've said to him, because I'm not getting the intimacy, I feel disconnected. I feel like we're growing apart, and I'm not. It's for us. It's never been like, oh, we're growing apart for like a month, but there might be weeks or a few weeks where I'm like, hey, like I feel that we're not investing enough emotionally, and I'm feeling separate. I'm not feeling connected to you, and so for us, I think that's the growing apart that we experience in our relationship sometimes. Do you agree?
I mean, again, I'm trying to like reconcile things. So, I mean, it's going to be semantics, but you could say growing apart or being a bit distant rather. Because when I hear growing apart, and this is me, I visualize somebody like sleeping on the couch or not touching when we're sleeping or like not talking or like just like moving
so it's
dolo
about
on their own.
Defining
and again,
right?
That's the next step, like different perspective on it and stuff like that. And again, that's not discounting or dismissing like what she's saying. It's again, conflict. I'm feeling misunderstood or whatever. I was like, I mean, what you talking about? I was like, I'm thinking you just like somebody, my roommate. You're not my roommate. You know what I'm saying? So it could be like that, but
sorry, not to cut you off.
No, you're good. Yeah.
But this is a good it says in your relationship you can either grow together or grow apart. So this is I think this is an important way to look at it, because again, there's different ways you can look at growing apart. So again, one for us, growing apart for me is when I'm feeling disconnected, and I don't consider that like really growing apart. But if we're disconnected for long enough, we can really lead into growing separately. If you're not, for your relationship, if you're not investing in the things that you guys need to feel connected, then you start growing apart. So for us, I think that we've done a great job growing apart and growing separately. There are
done a great job growing apart.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no,
growing individually. No. Yeah, I was about to say,
meant growing individually, not apart.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, that's a.
You knew what I meant. Y'all knew what I meant.
They might not have. I'm gonna say you
knew what I meant.
Yeah, go ahead.
I meant growing individually.
Yeah.
There are things that we grow separately in. Like, for example, we'll have an episode about religion, and so I actually think we've grown together in a weird way. However, for a majority of our relationship, I felt that I was growing on my own in that, which still kind of is the same, but we've gotten better. So I also felt that I was growing apart because of that. However, because of things that we've implemented in our relationship, like Omar now watches church with me, or he'll go with me multiple times a month, that makes me feel connected to him in that aspect as well. And so then I feel like we're together. We're not growing, we're not disconnected, we're not distant. So anything else to add?
Nah, I mean, you cut me off my one point, so that joint's gone with the wind.
My bad.
The answers, my friend, are growing in the wind. Go ahead.
Just let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
All right.
Complete.
Moving on. All right. Last but not least, what you think this one is? What's one of the biggest relationship breakers?
Why the wife should do more in the household.
No. This is trust.
But do you think that's a big thing for us?
Not for us. Well.
I'm sorry. We're bringing this up as general things. I was about to say, hold on, y'all. Like, listen.
No, but this is a huge.
No. I'm sorry.
You know what? It has impacted us before with drinking. Trust. Okay, so here's what I'll say. there's different ways to look at trust as well. In our relationship, it's played a part in a way that maybe isn't the same that it'll play a part in most relationships. I think when people hear trust, they're thinking, oh, he's cheating. Yeah. I can't trust him. Yeah. You know, something like that, right? Like that's what I think people typically think. Yeah. For us, I've never felt like I had to worry about him cheating. For me, trust was like, if I felt he was out drinking too much, can I trust that he's making the right decisions to get home, you know, and even what I'm to come home at the right time, like that kind of thing.
A lot of different things. Yeah, it's so just to zoom back out with it, because I didn't know what guys, fun fact here, she finds these articles. I do what I do. We do like a little high level of them, and then I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't read exactly what this one had.
You don't prepare?
I mean, look, I got the notes right here. I'm not pulling my phone up for session
giggles. Right, whatever.
But anyway, so now that I know where we're going with this, it's different way that trust can be had, right? Not even just trust with outside the home or anything like that, even inside the house. Like I said earlier, if there's 8 tasks that need to be completed and stuff like that. Yeah, you like that, right?
That was good. That was good. I like how you want to say it again? You working it in again that I don't do all the tasks at home? Okay.
Well, I was just trying. She might trust me that because I say, hey, there's 10 things that need to be done, I'm going to do 8 of them. Yeah. It could be that, hey, I'm going to do these 8 things here. But if she comes out and there's a problem, like something not done, or I see that her 2 things, not to say 2, I'm just coming up with the summing it up, that she didn't do, I was like, hey, this is what we agreed was going to happen. Why did this not happen? Same thing with the podcast stuff. You know what we're doing right now. Yeah. Here's how we want to go about it. Here's my role in this whole thing. Here's her role in it. And if the thing doesn't happen, it's like, once again, you're not doing what you said you're going to do, even for our relationship.
Yes, that's how it comes up in our relationship. Exactly. Can I trust that you're going to do what you said you're going to do?
So if we say that I'm going to start doing things to help the relationship out, I'm going to start being more intimate, how I touch you, or calling you beautiful.
He's speaking for, Preach on it. Preach.
This is about to be a conflict episode for real. Or say, here's how I'm going to improve things or whatever, and then I don't do it and we keep having a conversation. How can I trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do when you consistently let me down? So that's how we view it as. But again, it could be other things like
but I think trust for this is something in relationships, but I think most of the time
other things are the extra
can I trust you to be loyal? Can I trust you to So that's a huge thing in I think a lot of relationships. So for us, we have 4 tools that we've implemented that, help us deal with our patterns of communication and help us with the things that affect us from this list of 7 disagreement. 7 disagreement items.
You just call them from this list of 7 sources of conflict.
Yes.
If y'all don't know by now, I'm good at naming things. So all these episode names.
He named them. I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
Tip number 1: listening to understand rather than respond.
That's it.
Tip number 2: putting yourself in the other person's shoes.
Boom.
All right. Tip number 3: refraining from saying but. And this is the one I struggle with the most, but we're gonna talk about it and figure it out. Tip number 4: take a breather. Sometimes y'all just need to say, I need a second. But we're gonna talk about like how to handle that and how to say that in a constructive way, I guess.
Yeah. So I think, what I would just say is, again, number 1, listening to understand rather than respond is a huge one. Taking yourself out of your own feelings and listening as if you're trying to understand them so that you can make them feel heard, right? That's how people feel understood. So that's a huge one.
Yeah, like if someone's telling you how they feel about something, don't be like, you listen to them and be like, yeah, okay. Yeah. But when you try to, even though I say but right here, which is the tip number 3, be like, yeah, but you're not doing, boom, boom, boom and stuff like that. No, someone's telling you how they feel about something. Internalize that and understand that they're saying they feel like they're not being cared about. Don't say they made you feel this way too. Hear what they're saying.
Yeah, come on.
Speak no, look, now she acts like, look, when we beefing though and I start talking like this, you're rambling.
Because you need to listen to the 4
Y'all gonna
tools.
hear her diss track she made from me at some point, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
On 10, you'll hear it.
But let's go to number 2. Yeah.
Number 2, just piggybacks on the first one. Put yourself in the other person's shoes because that helps you be selfless and it helps you listen to understand rather than thinking about the 10 things you want to rebuttal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Number 3, take a breather. As in, if it's getting heated, go to separate rooms. our therapist Marlene. Shout out to Marlene always.
Yeah.
She's like, go separate.
Yeah. It's, like when you're beefing, you're going through it, it's going easy to go tick for tat. Trust me. Sorry. I know if y'all know me personally, trust me. Look, you want to keep going, I can keep going. Like, we'll just keep doing this until, look, I'll start talking to the spit, my mouth get completely white.
Right.
And I just keep doing
so
it.
Much.
All right. Well, see, look, here we go again.
Dang.
But point being is, it's, if you guys clearly are not seeing eye to eye, and again, it's like having yourself like stepped out or like refrain or pulling yourself back and outside looking in type of thing, whatever, which I do a lot with our arguments. Hey, we're not getting somewhere. We're not hearing each other, especially in a relationship when you're living together, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just stop. Be like, all right, find a way to constructively say, I need to take a breath. Don't say, hey, yo, you need to go in a room and calm down and take a breath. That's just not going to help you.
Yeah.
Saying something like, hey, and obviously we don't talk like this to each other or people, or maybe you do. If so, I mean, hey, you do. But finding a way to say, hey, we're not hearing each other. We're not vibing right now. We're not understanding what we're saying. Let's just take some time and then talk about this.
Yeah.
So with the overall thing being like, let's just take a break.
Take a second.
Here.
And reconvene when you're both calm.
When you're calmer and have a chance to take. But honestly, that does work for us. Whether we mean to take a break or we just take a break, once we go back to it, we're like, all right, hey, look. Yeah. And go from there. So like, try to take that breather. Tip number 4, refrain from saying but.
As in, hold on. He struggles with this, but here's what it means. If I'm saying Snookums or whatever.
If she's mad, she's calling me Omar.
I feel this boom, boom, boom. And he says, right, I'm sorry, but the but takes away the sorry, right? Like you need to tell me that you're understanding what I'm feeling.
So here's the one thing: acknowledge.
I'm sorry.
Y'all see how I'm
acknowledge. Thank you. Acknowledge my feelings and acknowledge, your part in them. And then instead of saying "but," because that retracts from everything you said before, you can say, "This is what I meant by this," or, "I'm so sorry. This is what I was trying to say."
And it might sound like a sticking point because again, we're saying, and be honest, it's kind of hard for me because yesterday I was like, yeah, I understand that, do. I like, but when I was saying, and I'll be doing it like, look, guys, I try not to, and it's something I'm still working on. Yeah. Which I do understand the concept of, but for me, it's kind of hard because like when I say but, I'm not saying it to dismiss her, but just because you think, as she said, words have power. Just because what you're saying you think shouldn't be an issue does not mean it's not an issue for another person. So if she's telling me how she feels, I'm like, boom, 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 boom. But I to her and to other people, I'm dismissing what she's saying. So if
you don't want to dismiss because it makes people feel misunderstood.
Exactly. It's going to cause resentment, feel misunderstood, and everything like that. So somebody's telling you how they feel. Don't say do. But you can ask a clarifying question or be like, well, can you find a way to say it constructively, which, we don't have those examples on hand. But I think the overall takeaway with these tips is to make, when you're trying to navigate through these things, it's to do it constructively. Sure. One other thing is, there's like challenges and trying to not complete all these, but, do these tips and everything. There could be challenges with them, but I think the main takeaway should be, again, being constructive and knowing what your end goal is. Yeah, we're beefing, but I don't want to leave her. Keyword, I don't want to leave her. And she doesn't want me to leave her either. Or her leave me, whatever it is. But make sure with how you're trying to handle these conflicts, these challenges, these issues, these beefs, these tiffies, that you're keeping that end goal in mind. You want this to work out. Use that, what's the word for it? Ideal, topic, goal, whatever the word is. Keep that, look, I don't know, I'm losing it. Keep that idea in mind when you're trying to fix, the end goal. The end goal, the end game, whatever. Knowing that you're not trying to break up or get divorced or quit the job or leave the family and get yourself emancipated. You want the issue to be worked out. So keep that in mind when you're trying to solve these various issues and challenges.
And that's all we got for you for episode 3. So see you next time.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll see y'all the next one again. Follow us at Snooks and Snookums.
Snooks and Snookums. Skyla Simone.
At OVOX Omar, unless I change my name at some point, which I don't anticipate on doing.
Thanks, guys. And
we'll
we're
catch
out.
y'all the next one. See ya.